Hello. We're gonna do something exciting today. We're gonna showcase the final goodbye or 90 minimum dash task, which has been in the works for quite a while, and we're gonna premiere it. I'm not alone for that though. Do you two wanna like introduce yourselves or something? Or...
Sure. I'm Alexa. I made a lot of the tasks, and I really like Mindash.
Awesome. How long is this task? I don't know. See, I myself have not seen or know anything about this. I'm going into this blind. So Molly, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, can you guys hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can.
Yay!
Yippee.
Okay, hi, sorry, I'm late. I'm Molly. I showed up after Alexa synced the minimum dashes tasks and helped with a lot of knowledge from normal 90.
Cool. Alright, I think we're ready to go then?
Sure.
Okay. But let me just make sure that I have in-game audio, and then because I might not have in-game mute. Yeah, okay. Alright. I guess I can put my controller down for this, I guess I don't need to. Alright, we have dash counts in top left, so we can keep track.
Yep, this sure is Parrot playing.
Yep,
No.
definitely me playing. It's my skin, so obviously, right?
Yep.
So yeah, this is minimum dashes, so our goal is not time related. It is restricted, so we're not going to be here for hundreds of hours. But
Thankfully.
yeah, so you'll notice a lot of waiting around for moon block cycles and smuggling extra jellyfish. It takes a lot of time, but it lets us save a few dashes.
This is silly.
So this is jelly laddering. Basically, when you pick up a jellyfish, you get an upwards boost. And then if you drop the jellyfish and pick up a second jellyfish, you can keep that upwards boost forever. So if we ever have 2 jellyfish, we can fly. We like having 2 jellyfish.
Speed. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of jellyfish stuff in this, I can already tell.
Yeah, Mindash really likes using jellyfish. If we can have jellyfish, we do have jellyfish. We also really love reloading a screen to get ourselves a second jellyfish, because the more jellyfish, the better.
That makes sense.
This room sucked to resync. It was moon block cycle dependent.
We love moon cycles. What? Okay. True?
That was spinner cycle dependent.
Oh, great.
Yes. While we do not have any spinners stunning, we do have spinner cycles where we need to stop spinners from loading just by going too fast. That is allowed. Now, right now we're going... You see those spinners just vanishing? That's because they were from a different room, and because the camera was so up, we could go through them safely.
I should use this strat? I don't think I should use this strat.
Oh no, all of these strats are perfect for platinum ones, I'm certain.
Surely.
This upcoming save is very annoying. It's actually 15 frame spinner cycle dependent, because it needs the 15 frame cycle for a spinner unloading to line up, but it just barely works.
I love Mindash tasks, they look so funny.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this is restricted, so we aren't allowed to spin or freeze. We also are not allowed to stun, so yes, it would be much faster to just stun through and skip the key hub, but not allowed.
Yes. Oh yeah, and for those who do not know 90 very well, there's a lot of keys throughout this whole map with key doors for it, and some of the key doors we can skip, some of them we do have to go through, so it's a bit of a routing challenge to figure out which keys use the least dashes and can be done the fastest. In fact, I think there are 2 dashes got saved from collecting different keys compared to my initial draft. So it does really matter.
This is not Moonberry. It is being worked on, I think, but It's not finished yet.
So anyone want to do a prediction for how many dashes it's gonna end up being? First 2 checkpoints we're at 25. We have 24 more checkpoints to go. $7.27. I think yesterday I said 8.37. Though it probably will end up being less than that, honestly.
Yeah, and so bubbles do not count as dashes. We use the in-game dash counter, and so any dashes that are... So bubbles do not count, so often we use bubbles as much as we can, and there's also one later rules lawyer use of bubbles, which is excellent.
And a half.
Dashless Dash is actually a name of a tech. I will not disclose whether it's used yet.
Okay. Yeah, that's a dash. There's 2 dashes dash and even Ascension. I think I used. It's like I used a setup where it's like a bubble and a spring. The spring cancels the bubble, and the next time you dash, it has the properties of a bubble.
Seems like Parrot put down the controller, but we are standing still right now because we need the pufferfish moving up and down to line up with the moon blocks moving up and down.
Oh.
And so we just stand still for 15 seconds waiting for that to line up.
Wow. Okay.
You see how long that pufferfish took to land on the spring? That was what we were waiting for. Okay, and when you do see occasional pausing, that's for pause buffering. That's for being able to hold jump without pressing jump. That is fully allowed, as long as you're not doing it to stop spinners from loading.
There was a while back when I was convinced that smuggling a jellyfish through this room RTA. It was really hard, but I was
remember.
determined it would be worth it.
I remember seeing that. That was something.
Yes, so we are supposed to only have 1 jellyfish right now, and so this upcoming barrier where we have to leave a jellyfish behind should leave us at 0 jellyfish. But we had 2, so that leaves us at 1. So now we have an extra jellyfish. And funnily enough, this is the last jellyfish for a long time.
Oh.
Which means there's no more jellyfish barriers coming up. So this jellyfish will be our friend for quite a while.
Jellyfish friend. So someone asked how long the task took to make. How long has it been in development? Speed.
So the server was
Bottom row?
Bottom rat. That's crazy. How many people in chat have not seen this room like ever? But yeah, continue.
So the server was created in February of 2022. However, after tassing, I think like about a third or fourth of the level, interest kind of died out, especially after the big update.
Right.
But about 2 months ago, when the 9D Platinum showcase happened, the Mindash server was mentioned. And I was watching that showcase and heard of that and went, that sounds cool. So I've spent probably almost 300 hours over the past 2 months working on the TAS. Not optimal for my schoolwork, but a lot of fun. At one point, I had 170 hours in the past 2 weeks played.
Wow, that's a lot. You respect your efforts
Might
for
not
this
be
cool
healthy.
TAS, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we couldn't camera smuggle because we have a jellyfish and we can't really turn
Oh,
around and
right.
keep the jellyfish.
Yes.
Is my gameplay? Yeah.
Oh, getting the bubble to before we left the hub, that was we had dashed down right out of it and then never collided with the ground. What that accomplished was storing a delayed ultra, which we used to save a dash in the hub.
That's cool. Jelly and dedication.
I absolutely love bringing jellyfish through mazes of bubbles. It always looks so funny. There will be more of this.
I agree. If there was an easier way to get a jellyfish here, it does actually make this part way easier. But,
Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Loud room.
Yeah. I also don't know if all the movement to the bubbles would be easy, because it is pretty difficult. Though, I mean, if you've got more dashes, maybe it would be. But it is sometimes surprisingly hard to keep a jellyfish when the level doesn't expect it to be one.
Yeah, it tends to be like that.
Hey, I really should tell you at some point just how many dashes this one jellyfish saves. It's gotta be like 100.
Gotta be a lot.
oh, Clume is this cloud room. The infamously hard room with a bunch of pink clouds earlier.
Yeah, the very precise cloud room. We need a name for the jelly. So we got Petunia in Heart Beating. What's this jelly's name, chat? Amy? Okay, it's Amy, I guess. This room seems pretty chill with jelly, though.
And this room has some funny tech with launchers. So when you're in state launch, the game doesn't expect you to be holding a jellyfish, which means if you press grab, you can just grab a jellyfish at any point during a launch. This allows you to get an upward boost halfway through, which we use to get up that wall without dashing. And if you grab it on the last frame, you don't actually do any re-grabs, so we do that at some point as well.
I wish I had a jelly for that room, for the ending of that room at least.
Fun fact, when you're above the screen, the downward does not happen. With that, we can just barely make it to this upward.
This key saves, I think, 2 dashes over... No, 1 dash over the next fastest key. That was,
It's still a dash.
we did a ceiling pop and then grabbed the jellyfish, and during the animation, we moved downwards because of the downwind. And that
that's what
let
that
us...
was.
Yeah, so we kept... Like, we got moved up by the jump after the jellyfish grab.
A jellyfish is also really good for fighting wind because 90 speed, because the wind is 80 speed, which means, and with the jellyfish you move a little bit faster in the air, so you actually move 3 times faster with wind when you have a jellyfish compared to when you don't.
Interesting.
So it's a lot easier to fight against this wind, and you fall a lot slower.
Oh god. Jelly to the bubble worm. That's awesome.
Yeah, very, very arcade viable. I'm looking forward to seeing you do it in your platinum runs.
Yes.
This making it to this bubble only works when you don't have auto jump from an up dash. So we have to jump off that ledge to get rid of the auto jump. That was a cool dash save. There's just an invisible floor there for people who don't know 9D.
Yeah, I skip that nowadays, but there's an invisible floor there.
There should be some lava wall showing up, but because we dodge all of the core mode triggers,
it's just gone.
It's just all gone. Unlike in another later section, there is no extra triggers to make sure that they show up. This state launch also allows you to dash with a jellyfish if you're seeing us dashing with jellyfish, because that is not normally possible.
Like as you normally said, we see this stack a lot in RTA games with Tio, but I've never really seen it with jellies before.
I think it's used in vanilla. It was used until we skipped the entire final room. Before we skipped the final room in the farewell TAS, that was a tech used.
I agree with Izzy. It looks so much funnier with jelly. Also, I love the TAS in that room just dancing on top of the block.
I mean, it is faster because if you're not moving it horizontally, then it will be going up.
Yeah,
they'll just be going up, and it's also really funny.
It also it's just great. It looks funny and it's fast. It's better.
Now, in this room, there was supposed to be wind pushing you left, so we dodge the triggers and keep the wind pushing you right, so we can do all of this nonsense.
True.
When wind pushes you into spikes, because of how order of operation works, you can jump off of them. This means that we can just, as a task, we can just pretend that the spikes mostly aren't there, which allows us to do this truly wonderful smuggle. Yeah, the wind is pushing the jelly. It's one of my favorite rooms.
Damn, that room was crazy.
Yeah, I love
another
that room.
key nobody sees. RTA.
This key sucks. Even in 90 FC Platinum, you would not see this key. No one wants to do this room.
This was actually also pretty annoying to tasks without dashes. Moving block and jelly. This ending is especially tight.
This room I do know though.
I am quite happy with the movement in this room. Yeah.
Oh, jelly gets the top one.
Jelly gets the top one, we get the bottom one.
Jelly friend helping us out. Well, it's been helping us out a lot.
Yeah, helping us out a lot. We used to get the key to the left here, now we don't because of that key in the upwind section. Because I thought that upwind section key needed a dash, and Molly proved that he did it.
Mm-hmm.
That bubble. Yeah, intercover. That bubble nonsense there was for some jump timer abuse. Basically, when you press jump, you get the jump timer, and if you then immediately dash, you still have the jump. Oh, wait, we do this
Time
first.
for center camera, Smiley. So this is we couldn't do camera smuggle earlier, but I found another place to do it.
Oh my god.
And yeah, we can just skip like all of the lightning here.
Oh my god, that's cool.
There should be, you see, there's some lightning, but there would be more lightning later in the room, but we don't care. Oh, and this is a tragic room. We have to leave Amy behind.
No.
We can't bring the jellyfish down that dream block. You can't bring jellyfish down dream blocks. So unfortunately, we're jellyless. This is the room that the camera smuggle really helps. And you can just see how, like, oh, there should be things there.
And this room is impossible with camera smuggle because Oshiro doesn't go far enough off camera.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So, yeah.
Is it actually impossible, or is it just a lot of extra dashes?
It might be possible, but it's like float precise or something.
Oh, great.
We didn't bother because it was going to be a lot of extra dashes regardless. And there's a trigger coming up soonish that will get rid of it, right?
Yeah, right here in this room.
But yes. We're out of an extra jellyfish, so we're going to have to start dashing a lot more, but we can do some nice bubble supers. For those who haven't played 9D or don't know what bubble supers are, when you walk off a ledge, you get Coyote. As Janosch, you can still jump frames. And if you do that and just get into a bubble directly afterwards, you can still jump while in that bubble dash. And these redirects don't count as dashes, by the way.
Because they're bubbles.
Because they're bubbles.
There's bubbles inside the Dreamlocks there, for people that don't know how that actually works.
Ooh, and this room.
Lava
Yes.
gone.
Lava
lava
gone,
bag.
and here's lava. There's a trigger that forces the lava to show. Now, literally an hour ago,
40 minutes before stream started, Creepy Cat had this idea. You can get a whole lot of speed from the core blocks over there and just
Thanks,
skip that
Creeps.
entire room. Saves 10 dashes.
Creeps coming in clutch.
Creeps thought it was a potentially useless idea.
Potentially
Those were-
uses saves 10 dashes.
Saves 10 dashes.
I don't know how much time it saves yet. I have not had the time to put it in the normal non-min dash tasks.
But it probably does. It's not the only place that Mindash saves time from any percent, though. We'll mention it when we get there.
Oh.
Oh yeah, Mindash saved a lot of time from any percent.
Depression.
yes. The checkpoints that are coming up for those who
it's
haven't
almost
played
brighter.
9D, the screen starts to get darker and hide the player. As a task, we like being able to see what's happening, so we've made sure that that background is purely that, a background, instead of making us unable to see.
Everything feels like it's glowing.
Yeah, because the background's so dark.
Even this room is very visible.
Right there, that was actually a down right dash. We are actually doing a delayed ultra here, where we can store that 1.2 speed boost for later. So all this funny movement to try to land at the block all avoids actually colliding.
No, actually, this has not been a feature in Celeste Test since 2020. I wrote this command myself because I didn't like that option. It just deletes the style grounds instead of moving to the background.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've explained multi-boost to people experienced with tasking in general. When a block moves, you get a thing called lift boost, which tells the game, hey, when you jump off of this, pretend physics is real and give you speed boost. But if we do that multiple times, you can get that speed boost many times for a lot of speed.
We love moon blocks in TASes.
Yeah, because moonblocks recoil, they're a great place to do that. Though we have to dash into them, so we can't do that too much.
It just does look silly with the foreground in the background.
It's at this point that a moving barrier starts happening, right? Where it's like completely black. We don't care.
I improved the command just because I wanted to know how much of the task you would have to watch while it's covered with black.
Would have been a decent bit of this part.
Oh yeah, the repeatedly crouching is the fastest way to move with headwind, because wind does not apply to you while you crouch.
It looks really funny.
Yeah, it's optimally 20 hertz. I think there's a save in save in main game, which people have not done because it requires pretty much perfect 20 hertz crouch spam. Anyway, we get another jellyfish friend.
Jellyfish
Finally.
bag.
So we head to the start of the room to get a
Back.
second jellyfish.
That's what we're doing. I was wondering.
Yep.
Chat, what's this jelly's name?
We should not get too attached to it.
Oh, okay. Maybe not name this one.
There are at least 2 more jellyfish you can name later, don't worry.
Yes.
Name it Tio.
What's coming up is a moon spring boost. Basically, when you hit a spring a second time, the block snaps back, and we can jump off of that for lift boost. So we have one jellyfish hit the spring, and then we hit the jellyfish the second time. This is why we can't keep the jellyfish. This is all jellyfish barrier.
Yeah.
The whole room.
So trust
I
me, you
don't
can
like
see.
it. Oh yeah. This should be completely blind for people who haven't played 9D. So all these cutscenes we're skipping is dialogue telling us what to do. We don't need the dialogue to tell us what to do. We're a TAS.
Yeah, you can do Moon Spring Boost's dash list. You just need to hit the spring twice pretty quickly. Normally you do need a dash for that, but if you have something like a jellyfish instead, you can use that.
I like how we just don't care about the first part of this room.
3, 2, 1, and we go. Just on time.
Perfect. Yep. That's what they wanted you to do all along.
Oh yeah, this is what they meant by wide jump thing that goes really fast. Did you know
right.
that?
Obviously, it's that one.
And we
Water
can
boost.
start to be able to see again normally now.
This will not be a summit entry. We had a death warp in exploration.
There was
I'm
also
sorry.
death warp earlier, I think. There's been
Yeah,
2 or 3.
There was a death warp at the very beginning because you'd have to dash to get the moving block out of the way for the lower path, so we just retried.
Oh, right.
I think there was also one in the key hub.
Oh yeah, because it's faster to just retry
Yeah.
than waiting for key to bring you back. Oh yeah, and this is a great strategy. You should absolutely use this exact strategy.
Was that for delayed ultra?
That right there is for delayed ultra right there, indeed.
I thought so.
I tried to bino clip in this room. The camera doesn't go high enough.
Wait, what was that wait for?
That was for the moving for the power box. We needed to be on its lowest point right there to jump off of it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I can't brag about the down dash saving 1 frame or whatever, because it's min dash.
Summit.
Yes.
Our task goes up here. Wow.
Minimum dashes. You can crouch jump through the bottom.
Let's just say I hate tassing feathers. I got Featherlin working some point late in when we got to in upwind somewhere is when I got Featherland working. But,
I still have not used Featherland. Oh, I did like once to see if I could make it work, but other than that I do them manually.
There's probably a lot of people that don't know what Featherland is.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, Featherland is you can like drag boxes around in game to define where a feather should go, and then feed them to a program. Nice spike climb, and that program will brute force its way into finding the fastest route that hits all the boxes in a feather. Yes, it is
cool.
made by the Roboman, the same person that found the MB6 FBHS PhD RCB.
Like I just know that.
I don't think there's any robo boosts in this task though.
The what now?
The robo boost. That's what, for short, instead of the
For short.
acronym.
All of chat went like, what?
Oh, hi, Smots Gaming.
Oh yeah. Mindash loves Chapter 1 mechanics. You can just jump off it. You can just ignore spikes. You can get huge multi-boosts. Spike climbs and spike falls, for those curious, is where you use the fact that you're technically moving away from the spikes to stay inside of the spikes for a long time.
That was a cool, like, wall jump from the spike B.
Yes, that one relied on the block pushing us into the spikes.
I was wondering.
Yes, it's a very cool trick whenever we can do that. And Chapter 2. Mindash hates Chapter 2.
Dream block.
Dream blocks! You can't do much about dream blocks.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Like, we could dodge some of them, but...
Talk about Mindash saving time in main game. I saw one of my strats that saved dashes in Mindash back there. Dream block, oh dang it.
Oh yeah, and those dream blocks that vanish after you dash in them are vanilla. They're just unused. Everything, to my knowledge, in 90 is fully vanilla, except for graphics and sound.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure so. Well, there's like the Moonberry is specifically coded to teleport you, but that's about it, I think.
This room, for normal 9D, we want to avoid these battling orbs because they lose time. For Mindash, we actually want to hit as many as possible because while they lose time, they do save dashes.
Actually, the second one saves it, costs a dash to skip. So to skip. But yeah, no, words. Well, actually, no, the first one saves a dash to skip. Words are hard. Sorry. If we could cross this gap in the beginning twice, we'd save a dash. That gap is not crossable twice. We screen transition before that key door takes our key. We don't want it to steal our key. It'll be very mean if it did.
This room seems mean as well for Mindash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much you can do.
No.
That's
I
rough.
got like a little bit more speed at the start, but I couldn't get it to save a dash and then.
Yeah, there's
I
not much
didn't-
to work with in the variety.
No.
This room looks miserable to TAS. I haven't touched it, but watching it wait here It needs
Yeah.
to
Oh,
stay
no.
near Oshiro to get slowdown so that the dust bunny stops being in the way.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, this room was a pain to do. But Oshiro does save a lot of dashes at least.
Yippee.
As annoying as he is. Weaving through all of those dust bunnies was also really annoying, by the way.
I'm pretty sure invisible cassette blocks were never vanilla.
The upcoming key actually saves
I
dashes
love
to
this
get.
key.
It actually saves dashes to get this key, which is pretty cool. We only need to go in the bubble feather twice. That room was annoying to do because Featherlin can't route things, so I did have to route it.
The ace roller.
Also, I love just spamming jump every single frame while climbing up tunnels
Oh, it's
like
great.
that.
I love that. It's so satisfying.
Yeah. Perfect every single frame wall jumps. So sweet. You know why there's just like an extra battling room here? Like, just because Monica wanted, I guess.
It's like lore reasons or something. It's kind of cool because it matches up, like, it's like slowly transitions from 1500 into 2K, and then the music transitions as well.
There.
And it's also the only reason that, because like all the Summit checkpoint names are references to the heart poems of the original chapters, like Sunrise Running is No More Running and Pink Sunrise. And then Smots is Scattered Mirror of the Storm, and the Scattered is from Scattered and Lost. And the only reason that's the chapter 3 one is because of that room. The other ones are Mirror Magic and Eye of the Storm, which is chapter 4 and 5.
I also tried to bino clip here, but you don't get enough time to go to the spinners, so you have to use a dash. There we kept jumping on the block, kind of like a water boost. We jumped to the jumped on the platform at the exact time it was one Madeline height between it and the ceiling, so we kept getting 0 speed.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of waiting on those moving blocks to be able to jump off of the top at the maximum height, because so many of those just only line up at maximum or close to maximum height.
Smots Gaming Room. Shout out to Smots Gaming. I'm expecting a TAS version on the channel soon.
I believe this is another normal 90s strat
Well, I wish that
happened.
I wish you could do that room
Yeah.
like that.
That was fully taken from any percent with like a couple dashes saved off of it.
Yeah.
Also, actually, my 800 dash estimate isn't too awful looking so far, because we're like close to halfway and it's close to 400.
Mm-hmm. This room, we talked about dashless dashes earlier. It's almost possible to do that in this room, but it turns out the devs thought of that when they were coding snowballs.
Oh,
If you get in a bubble and a snowball hits you out of it, then it like forces you out of the bubble. Whereas
Oh, I didn't even know that.
with other entities, it would force you out of the bubble, but it would remember you were in that bubble previously. Whereas with snowballs, they force you to forget.
dang.
So you could save 2 dashes in that room if the devs weren't smart.
That crouch jump is quite precise. in this room, it is also possible to get Bino control storage. If you, up above, there's a snowball trigger, and if you can fall all the way down to the bottom of the room, and then get Bino control storage. Unfortunately, that's completely useless. So we do not do that, but it is technically possible. We can explain what Bino control storage is later.
There is a
interesting,
platinum
right?
percent TAS.
There is a platinum TAS, yeah. Can you show the dog? I can show after the run. I can show a picture probably. Dog barking in the background.
Yes, all these blocks only move when you dash, which means
That's
Dash
not like
is
this
out.
from in dash.
yeah. In fact, that is one way to tell a dashless dash apart, because they don't move when you do bubble dashes.
Yep,
So a
that's how
dash
I
is
used it
still-
in even ascension.
So indeed, and the dash counter doesn't count them, which means they're great. They're great for technically not dashing.
Alright, two things here. First off, dashless dash is a thing in this TAS. Second off, Bino control storage.
Yippee!
So we used the dashless dash to
Enter
do a
camera.
delayed ultra so that we could get enough speed to activate the binoculars and then slide into the bubble. And that takes us out of the dummy state that the binos put us in, so we have control of both Madeline and the binoculars. And with that, you can keep the camera all the way to the left while you play the room, and all the spinners aren't loaded.
Funnily enough, it's the same amount of dashes to leave the Bino control storage earlier, but it saves about half a second in-game time and about a second real-life time because you do 15 less red bubble dashes and save 3/4 of a second in freeze frames. Also, we use a command to shut up the red bubble sound from the dashless dash. If we did not do that, it would the sound of being in a red bubble would continue for the
Oh.
entire task.
Oh
It
no!
would not stop.
That's terrible.
So we generously disabled that for your
Thank
listening
you.
experience.
We appreciate it.
We were going to make it play for like a little bit, but unfortunately, you lose the reference to the sound object, so we couldn't make it play for the room and then shut it up afterwards. Maybe we spent more time figuring out the commands we could have, but instead we saved 10 dashes an hour before the task was before the premiere, so I think that's more important than making the listening quality
Yeah.
worse.
Left side.
Yeah, just
And-
demoing through here takes fewer dashes than going to the left earlier and opening the switch gate to go to the right.
Also, underneath those moving blocks, we can do that same tech of jumping every single frame, because the wind pushes us into the spikes, allowing us to jump every single frame underneath those blocks for a bunch of speed, which is pretty cool. Downwind is actually quite nice in mid-dash sometimes.
Kremlin Fox Girl.
I just read that, yeah. Hey, that's how I do that part. How golden vibe is that? I mean, we've used about a lot of death orbs so far, so not really.
Yeah, it probably would be less effort to just figure out to do a platinum version of this, but then I'd have to do stuff to avoid the death warps, and that sounds like effort.
That's effort.
Here's another 80% strat that turned out to be much fewer dashes.
Yeah, I completely missed that shortcut in my first draft, by the way.
That's
I
really
just
funny.
did not use it.
That's honestly
and
fair,
then-
but also really funny.
Creepy pointed out, hey, you could just do this, and I went, oh. But yeah, because for those wondering about the making process of this task, I kept it relatively secret that I was working on this. The only person that I kept actually up to date with my progress was Creepy Cat.
Yeah,
who,
even I didn't know until like a month ago.
Yeah, I kept it secret. Some people there's some people that like help with like a couple of places, but I finished the task. Creepy then looked over the whole task and saved over 100 dashes for my first draft.
Creepstick code.
And once I synced all of Creepy's dash saves, I publicized it. And we've saved another 40 dashes since then.
That's cool.
Yeah, that key loses dashes to get, but we needed to go in that room to turn off the upward wind so that we could get to the feather with fewer dashes from the red bubble. At the end of this flag, we need to use a dash to demo here. That skips a no wind trigger, and upwards wind saves a lot of dashes here.
I love just spike jumping under the crumble.
Yeah. I mean, why go over when you can go under?
True.
But yes, this section is actually pretty good for not using dashes because it's core mode, so you kind of are expected to not have to use many dashes. But we still do some very nice dash saves. Like that. That's a lot of climb jumps off of another core block, similar to that one that skipped that spring room earlier for 10 dashes.
The trigger skip. We tried for like hours to make this trigger skip like platinum viable, but like it was always like something that was not entirely consistent about it. It's kind of sad.
Tragic.
Yeah, this trigger skip is like close to being platinum viable in like 3 different ways, but like all of them have some flaw to it which make it not worth.
Anyway, we could just jump off these lava walls as much as we want. Why would that stop us? What's coming up is a rounding error. So you because time, you cannot move exactly 1/60th, time is ever so slightly more than 1/60. This means that while in 2 frames you move 3 pixels, you actually move just over 3 pixels. So with the right setup, you can make that grab. That grab is rounding, is very precise. I actually had someone else do that for me. Thank you, DanPark, for doing that. That's a horizontal rounding error. There can also be vertical rounding errors.
Well, you could save a bunch of time here with that very not RTA viable wall bounce. SMH. Saving 10 dashes is more important, sorry.
Yeah, there's such. I wouldn't be surprised. There's like minutes of time saved.
I didn't really go wall jump day.
Yeah, one of those spinners is not grid aligned, so with the crouched hitbox, you can jump from the wall behind it.
I didn't realize that either. That was something that Molly added. By the way, you're like less than like a pixel away from being able to down vibe through those 2 bubbles at once. to take this through 2 blocks at once, but unfortunately you just can't. Also, there's all these dash crystals. It's like they expect us to be needing to be dashing to stay with the blocks. Nah, this is actually very precise. You only barely can keep up with those 2 blocks by just neutraling.
The wait.
Anyway, we are waiting for the core block for the bumper cycles in this case, and we have another jelly friend.
Jelly friend is back. Do we keep this
Yes.
friend longer?
We can keep this one for longer. We can name this jelly.
We
friend.
can name this jelly chat. Okay, there's 3 Edwards. I guess it. This one's Edward.
Edward. Edward is very nice. We're going to be keeping Edward for a good bit. You should clearly be keeping a jellyfish yourself. I don't know why you are. It definitely doesn't make these rooms tighter.
Surely not.
Especially this one. This room's really RTA viable with the jellyfish.
Oh god.
Don't worry about it.
Wait, this room is already
not
kind of.
worry.
Oh yeah.
About RTA viability.
That looks
That
even
seems terrible.
closer. That looks even closer than the normal task because this one has to use 1 less dash.
But hey, having a jellyfish here is pretty nice.
True.
I love random invisible core mode triggers.
Yeah, this room is full of them.
Also, by the way, it's actually relatively annoying to re-grab a jellyfish after a bird. We can get it to work every time, but every time it's a little bit of effort. It just lines up that way.
There was an Everest patch a couple days ago where when you enter this room you get booted to the title screen. I don't know
What?
why.
How did that happen? Jelly for all of cassette now.
Jelly for all of cassette. We don't even visit the intended jellyfish that's hidden somewhere.
That's no Petunia. Wow.
No Petunia. We've got Edward. Why
We
do we
got
need
Edward.
Petunia? But yeah. Also, I searched this whole checkpoint. There is nowhere you can set up infinite speed. With cassette blocks, it's possible to make an infinite speed setup. Unfortunately, well, actually, because it's an additive, you can only get to like 1 billion speed, but 1 billion speed is still enough.
Yeah. I don't.
Unfortunately, there is nowhere you can set it up. I searched. I really wanted to use the infinite speed setup, but unfortunately, I couldn't.
Oh yeah, if we need to run an ad break, now's a good time.
Oh yeah, it's happening right now naturally. So.
Oh, awesome.
Like literally the second you said it, it says ad starting soon. We planned that from the start. Obviously, we knew.
I mean, actually, coming up was a section where we did mention as a place for an intentional ad break, but
I didn't even
cassette
have to
movement-
manipulate it. It's just,
yeah, the cassette movement is just chill.
it's chill.
I mean, it's not complicated. We just float, jump off the blocks. We're not even doing raising here. We will, but you don't need it. Just float. A very chill checkpoint. Where actually is Petunia, by the way? I don't actually know.
To the left of that, or in that room, if you at the start, there's like a hidden wall under the starting platform.
But yeah, we just gotta keep Edward instead. Oh yeah, and this section was not actually tasked by me. This section with screen was tasked like 2 years ago,
I remember seeing
and
this.
there's some movement to the right where you can, to like intended keep the jellyfish, but that's lame when we can just climb up this tunnel with the jellyfish.
Right? If you haven't ever seen this before, it's beautiful.
This is clearly the better way you're supposed to climb up with a jellyfish. I mean, totally RTA viable too. I don't know why you bother going to the right in your platinum runs. This is very easy. Nothing to worry about. I mean, you could probably do this a bit faster, but I do not want to ever touch that section.
No, so... I would also not want to. I just want to admire it, and that's it.
This room is why I said we need an ad break.
Oh god.
Wait, so we are cassette raising for about a minute. For those who do not know how cassette raising works, if you stay inside a cassette block for its whole cycle, so a cassette block moves up when it turns on and then down when it turns off. If you stay inside of it, it does the up movement, but not the down movement. And so you can slowly raise them up and smear the screen. This is the only long cassette raise in the TAS, thankfully.
Nice.
But yeah, you have to jump off the ground there.
Thank you for the sub. By the way, Winter and Macho Linky, appreciate it.
And yeah, when you jump off a cassette block as it turns on, you get a big upward boost for those who haven't messed around with cassette blocks.
Oh, this is the room where I do cassette raise as well.
Yeah, we do a little raise. We don't need to actually raise it that much to make it. Only that little bit, but hey. Also, we stick the jellyfish inside of the block right there just for funsies. Because the screen transition warps it down and puts it inside of a cassette block. It's barely visible, but I think it's cool. And some flight. I so wish we had infinite speed for this room. But yeah.
I don't keep the jelly that long in this room. I have once safe stated through this room with jelly, and that was an experience. But unfortunately, there's a battle open in the next room, so it doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you cannot get a boost from that cassette block the first time around. You had to cycle back to it to get the boost. But yes, we do keep Edward because dashless holding a jellyfish is fast. So you move 20% faster.
Sub 600 into party.
Yes. Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's nice. Do you know how many meters that light year number is, by the way?
Crouch dash. Is it just 4,000? I'm not sure actually. Might just be 4,000 kilometers, but I'm not sure.
If that feather was not in a bubble, we could save a dash. It's actually really hard to see it's in a bubble too. It's so bright.
People pointed out this demo to me, and I was like, "Oh, duh." Also, we skip two triggers there: a downward trigger and a one dash trigger. Also, who needs to retry for the hold right setup? We'll just do the room manually. Oh yeah, and here we set up a vertical rounding error. Grabbing is a great. I used, I think it's Luzid's program for that, if I remember correctly. And that lets us get just enough speed to make it to that block. It requires a rounding error to land earlier. I mean, maybe if you're better, it doesn't need a rounding error, but...
How did that laser not hit?
It's a demo.
Yeah.
And it only barely works. And yes, DTS absolutely saves dashes and time.
It's funny we get an extra dash to save dashes. It makes sense, but it does sound funny.
It really only saves dashes in the VV00s. Anyway, this that's just how that binoculars works. That's, I think, intended. It's gotta be.
Monica knows about it, yeah, because
Yeah.
the DTS stuff.
But yeah, that bino just teleports us down when we leave it because of how cameras and Madeline bosses work. Anyway, what's the checkpoint that's VV00 lobby? The big lobby.
Reunification.
Yeah, dash triggers. DTS saves a good couple of dashes there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I just know the room names. I don't know what the room labels. I don't know what the checkpoints are called.
I know it the other way around.
I think I know them both.
Well, that's good that someone does.
Oh yeah, I saved with dash here. Funny. That coin, the spring to the left is bait. What you actually want from that coin is this block over here.
Oh, right, that's the... I never got the coin.
Also, if
I
that
should do that.
feather, if that feather was like 2 pixels to the left, you could just jump from that block and save 2 dashes. Yay, we made it past the cycle.
Yippee.
Checkpoint number does not match the alphabet. There are certain checkpoints that are like AA, CC, DD,
Yeah.
etc.
I think dedication and memories also have the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all checkpoints change letters. Some change
Letters in the
half
middle of
a
it.
letter.
Yeah.
Some have multiple letters, I think. I'm not.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a mess.
Check out this crouch slide through the spinners.
That's sick, actually.
Also, this room is the worst room in existence. I was so glad he didn't have to touch it, that someone else had already done it, and then Creepy saved a dash, and I was like, oh no, I have to touch this room.
You might be able to save another dash there.
You might
That
be able to
snowball
save another
super.
one there.
I don't want to touch this room either, though.
Yeah. It's a room TM.
This room as well, you might be able to save a dash, but then you have to resync dashless Seeker Golf. That's gonna be a pass from me right now. You do actually have to resync it because the Seeker floats around slightly. You can't just have the same inputs.
Yeah. True. Top right? Huge. I
This
also
battle
looked...
is really funny.
Yeah, it desynced for some random reason. So I just had to slightly adjust that. Because because a lot of these checkpoints were tasked 2 years ago. But that meant that when Monica moves a spinner from out of the way into the way, I had to adjust things. There's a surprising amount of those. So it was very helpful whenever a checkpoint had already been tasked, but it also was unfortunately, 2 years old.
I guess worth mentioning in the next room, we're using a modded dash counter. The only change is dash count doesn't reset when you die. Specifically in this room, technically you could break the blocks for the secret route and then retry, and those dashes wouldn't count. So it would save one dash.
That's silly.
But yeah, whoever made this counter thought that was cheap, so there's an option to not have that.
And because it is cheap, I mean, can't you do that like that same kind of thing to save time in 5B? Isn't it where you can like press those buttons already? Or am I slightly misremembering?
I don't remember.
Yeah, this checkpoint uses the DTS. It used to not require dash trigger storage. It used to not require having an extra dash, but Monica changed that because she saw it. I think she saw it and then said, "No, I want you to have 2 dashes." That wall bounce is very tight to actually retry and have your spawn point be up there. That button allows you to get to this jellyfish. Now you may note we have 5 keys right now. That's because upcoming is 5 key doors. Funnily enough, though, 4 of those key doors could be skipped with just 1 dash. But it turned out that there were 5 keys that did not cost any dashes to pick up. And so it did, in fact, save a dash to just open up these key doors and go through them instead of skipping them.
That's funny, because that's similar to my RTA experience with it, because like there's the speedrun skip to skip a bunch of the doors. But there, it just turns out there's like a bunch of keys that are on the route and are easier than the intended path, so it ends up being safer to just get enough keys to do it intended than to do the skip.
Yeah. In the start of this checkpoint, we did a down left into the power box so that we could use a delayed ultra to make a gap that we normally couldn't. There's kind of a theme of checkpoints like this where you have to dash into things like power boxes or Kevin's. If you can dash down diagonally, you should, because you get a delayed ultra from it.
The demo.
Yeah. There's a good bit of any percent movement, but also a lot of just... I mean, some of this became any percent movements soon. But jellyfish are fun. We finally get to play with them again. Ignore their subpixels. I hate jellyfish subpixels.
Oh god.
Yeah, because when you pick up a jellyfish, it's subpixel locked at that moment, which means depending on when you pick it up, it might fall a pixel slower, a frame slower, or a frame faster, which isn't fun. Or horizontally go a pixel for the left, pixel for the right.
I'm
I
so
think the
glad
more
I
important
don't have to
thing-
worry about jelly suffixes in RTA.
Yeah. The important thing with jellyfish subpixels is, unlike Madeline subpixels, jellyfish don't reset on room transitions. So with just Madeline, if you can get to the same position with the same speed, the same pixel position with the same speed, then you're fine. With jellyfish, it can look like you're fine, and then the task just randomly desyncs like an entire checkpoint later.
Yeah. And what's coming up? Actually, not quite yet. No, I forget the rooms sometimes. But no, okay. Gosh, remembering the whole map is hard. I don't know how you do it, Parrot.
Yeah, it a lot of time. Well, you also spend a lot of time on this map, to be fair, but
Less than you.
yeah, I don't think the only person I think who would have spent more time is Monica herself. So my dash count guess yesterday was 837, I think, which I don't think we're quite gonna make that, but it'd be close.
SJ-Min-Server has a Cry About Subpixels channel. May I introduce the 9D-Min-Cry About Dashless Water channel? I shouldn't introduce it, I didn't make it. It's really funny though.
Having 2 jellyfish, we can start flight again. It is possible to bring both the jellyfish past this barrier. It's not useful though. Bringing this jellyfish through this room is annoying, but it does save a dash. So, I mean, why, for example, why go up to collect that key when the jellyfish can just pick it up for you? It's a very nice jellyfish. But yes, oh yeah, to go through dream blocks with a jellyfish, you have to dash, get dash attack, pick up the jellyfish, and then move to the dream block directly afterwards. You can't do that when going down because you don't hit the dream block fast enough. Gravity is just not strong enough for that. So you have to do some funny things whenever there's a down dream block. And there's in fact a later on jelly smuggle through dream blocks where I thought it was impossible and I had to ask Creepy for help. And then Creepy, of course, did it because that is Creepy.
Sounds about right.
Just do whatever. Also, fun fact, you can just bounce on the spring through this electricity here.
Well, you can? wait, I'll try that later. Wait, hold up. Do you just not have to worry about that at all?
You do have to worry about it, but if you're fast, like if you have to be above the lightning and then hit the spring. So it's not free. It is pixel precise.
Okay.
But,
okay. I was about to say.
It can kill you, but
I think once you hit the springs once, it just lines up.
That is also correct.
If you could find some way to set up to hitting it the first time, then that'd be really funny, actually. But oh, that was my dash count, guys. Next dash will go over. Surely we can just go dash for the rest of the map. Oh.
Unfortunately, we have to dash into the fight.
Well.
Also, what's coming up here is some speed. So, don't blink.
Oh, true.
That speed allows us to keep a jellyfish 2 here because we just go fast enough that we full on clip through a very wide barrier. This extra jellyfish allows us to do the hilarious concept that is upwind jelly ladder.
Downwind.
Jelly ladders, the downwind jelly ladders.
Yeah, that looks
jelly
terrible.
ladders move at 32 pixels per second. Downwind pushes you down at 30 pixels per second. If you do that math, then that is a plus 2 pixels per second upwards. So please wait.
Be here for a bit.
We will be here for about 40 seconds as we gain about a pixel every time we pick up the jellyfish.
That's
fun
great.
fact, the slowest down ladder actually goes at 29.2 speed. So in theory, with 2 jellyfish and downwind, you can fully control moving up and down.
Oh, that's cool.
Going up at 2 speed and down at 1 speed.
The moonblock is not gonna take long.
Yeah, but that is, I absolutely love that. But yeah, so if you do a perfect 29, every 30 frames pickup, you can move down at 0.8 pixels per second, yes. Anyway, we keep the jellyfish here. The any percent TAS did originally keep the jellyfish to this room, but then it left it behind. That is being changed. Now any percent does keep this jellyfish. We should name the jellyfish.
Chat.
Is there?
New name. I tried to I RTA once, like just tried to see how far I could take his jelly smuggle, and I got it to the room, well, where it gets ruined by the Balan orb, but it was funny. It took a while. Very not worth it, but it was funny to see how.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth? Okay, it's Elizabeth.
I think this jellyfish is plural.
But yes. So any percent now actually does keep the jellyfish this long, and you will find out in a later why. But we get to have a nice jellyfish floating around. This room is probably why they didn't keep the jellyfish originally, because this room is a lot slower with the jellyfish, because you fall slower, which is very nice for a min dash, but it isn't fast. So Molly, you made it a lot faster, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Still not up to here. It loses time compared to no jellyfish, but we'll see. We'll see what it does later.
I also love how the birds just like handle the screen boundary. It just becomes black.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It was not made for that.
Downwind and jellies allow you to do some cool tech where you're moving up while having coyote. If you jump and then pick up a jellyfish, you're not moving up, and the wind can push you back onto the ground. Meaning you can jump from, you can be moving up while having coyote and then jump from the air. It's pretty cool. I like when we can having coyote in the air is when moving up is always fun. Yes.
That's a funny second jump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we don't need 2 dashes there. We can just use 1 and the jellyfish. That was a very funny tech. You don't need it on a console load because of the order of operation being different when you load into the map.
What?
Here,
Oh.
we get some speed.
Oh. What?
Now-
Okay, that's where I lost my jelly smuggle. I guess that's how you would get it through there, huh? I wish I could do this for this part. This part is so boring. I want to do it like that.
Any percent abandons the jellyfish to do a lot of ultras, and it keeps the speed for so much of this section. I think it saves about a minute now.
Yeah,
Wow,
it does.
that's insane.
Of just how much speed they get. My initial draft that I posted at the any percent improvement saved 1/4 of a second. 15 frames, and then that got turned into a full minute time save once people improved it a bit. But yeah, we get to have a jellyfish here. A jellyfish even allows us to move faster because you have a higher max speed when holding a jellyfish in air than just walking. And you just get to keep the jellyfish. It's very nice. Because yeah, this area is normally dashless anyway, which means having a lot of speed for any percent is really useful, and it also means we're not going to be dashing for a hot second.
Yep.
Because we can't. I mean, I guess we can because it doesn't take away your dash you start off with, so we do have a dash right now, but
Yeah, you have like 1 dash to use until the Dreamblock room.
we're not going to be using it for obvious reasons. But yes, Elizabeth is very good.
Shout out to Elizabeth.
Those stars just perfectly block us. It's very annoying. Also, by the way, that zoom at the start, that is drift dependent.
Oh.
If at different drifts you do not make it through, and this right here, these smuggles, I actually needed Creepy to help with those. You need to like back boost the jellyfish. You do need to do a wall boost, back boost to actually be able to keep those jellyfish through dream blocks, because it is very difficult to get far enough from the dream block that a right dash doesn't instantly hit the dream block.
That's interesting.
So you need to move enough left so you can actually get dash attack and pick up the jellyfish.
Okay, someone's asking for an explanation for drift, spinner drift.
Oh yes, spinners try to load every 3 frames for performance optimizations. How they know whether or not to load is that they use a float value and modulo it to check if it lines up. And because it is a float value, it cannot be exactly added 1/6 to each frame. And because of how long this has been, floats are also no longer as precise as they would need to be to even come close to accurately representing it. Meaning that instead of checking every 3 frames, they check every 2.99 frames. And on some of that time, it actually flat out does not work. We actually encountered that when trying to sync the 10 dashes saved earlier today.
Also, I'm very jealous of the TAS having a jelly at the start of this room. Oh my god, I wish I had that.
Yeah, it's a very RTA viable jelly smuggle. I don't know, you should really pick it up.
It's like worth it to skip the beginning of this room. Beginning of this room is impossible. Surely it's easier.
Yeah. Yeah, with just, some floating around. Pretty normal movement here.
Again, this is restricted, no stunning.
Correct.
Yeah, the 80% does funny stun here. A gigantically ugly stun to skip like the entire room.
Yep. But yeah. Now, Parrot, I forget, do you manage... Oh yeah, here we're just wasting some time for the moonblock cycles to line up, because the upcoming trick relies on good moonblock cycles. Do you manage to keep a jellyfish for post-box?
No, that's a speedrun thing. They do it in the RTS speedrun, but it's not working for that boost.
Yeah, we leave that.
That looks a lot easier than what the speedrun does. The speedrun does the frame perfect like spring moon boost bullshit.
It is in fact not easy.
Okay, I assume probably so.
The spring being on its highest pixel, you need to perfectly. I mean, I don't know if having an extra dash might make it free. I did not think, but it is pretty precise.
Yeah.
Anyway, this room is, by the way, the worst room to TAS. It's so big that fast forwarding it is a lot slower than normal. The entire room has moon block cycles, has moving platform cycles. But this room is the worst.
Yeah, I'd imagine thinking about it.
It took me an hour to sync a 30-second improvement in the room, and I considered that incredibly lucky.
Where are we
I expected to take longer. Of course, we dropped a jellyfish over here. We're gonna pick it up.
Oh, right. Okay, my bad.
Obviously. Didn't you know that we left jellyfish there? Those are the jellyfish from the beginning of the room. They slowly float on down.
Oh my god.
And if you hit upwind before they go out of the screen, you can pick them back up.
Yep.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I did check. One of these jellyfish is actually Elizabeth.
Ooh, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Also, we hit a camera trigger at some point that tells the camera to not go down. So we are starting to head down. We're actually dodging a trigger that'll fix the camera.
Honestly, don't center camera. It doesn't help. It's just empty down there.
So
Okay.
if you center camera real quick just to see us moving, we're just doing this for a while. We can slowly watch where you're supposed to be going. We are very slowly doing some downward jelly laddering across this section. It takes a while. it's a wide room.
It's a white room, yeah.
And we're not moving that fast. And this is not actually a camera smuggle. A camera smuggle is a different tech. This is just a very silly camera trigger. Yeah, no, we're not done yet.
I was just curious how far down that block went. We were like a
Not
lot lower
far
already.
So yeah, we just get to see you're supposed to be dashing through those huts and stuff. That would be a lot of dashes. We're just gonna go underneath them all.
You did this RTA with save states. That's amazing. Someone in chat did.
You can get to the golden room with a jelly that way. That's great. Of course NCG would have done that. I think the
Wait,
camera
you can
upgrades-
keep the jelly smuggle to the golden room?
I think you lose it at the orb. But...
Yeah, in old 90.
Oh,
yeah,
old 90,
okay,
right.
that makes sense.
I was like,
Oh
yeah,
okay.
we just passed through a bunch of spinners you can't see because it's center camera. Our camera's fixed now. The camera's fixed. You can remove
okay.
center camera.
Where's the bridge?
I wish it wasn't fixed, but anyway, we're just waiting. You know, a nice break.
Oh!
Oh, a jellyfish!
Where did that come
nice.
from? What do you
Very
mean?
nice, Monica, to leave that for
I
us.
just okay.
We dropped the other jellyfish. Oh, and another jellyfish. How
I
wonderful.
knew about that one at least.
Um,
From the heavens above. Gift from God.
yeah, so that's why we carried 2 jellyfish across that whole room. I mean, actually, we don't know, but yeah, so that's why we were doing that, so we can still have 2 jellyfish here, where it actually is useful. Because with 1 jellyfish, you can absolutely cross that gap a lot easier. But then you only have 1 jellyfish. And you don't want just 1 friend, you want 2 friends. Because 2 friends let you fly.
These 2 jellies are so gooey.
True friends also let you fly.
Shout out
yes.
to Smart Speedy.
But yes, and there's the whole poem going on. I have not actually read the poem.
What the
You
heck?
should, it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, some fun cycles. It's always exciting that these cycles are different whenever you change the room. And Molly, you want to talk about this? Struggle?
Yeah, we used to leave one of the jellyfish behind, but you can keep it here. It's, jellyfish subpixel dependent. You can barely wait long enough to let the wind push that jellyfish over there.
Damn.
But
Also,
it
just
is
realized
possible.
we've been dashless since like beginning of like power blocks until there, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. But yes, we are at 891 dashes right now.
We're gonna be sub 900.
Oh yeah,
It's
and we
okay,
also
Chad. Elizabeth
Yeah,
is the
he-
one that didn't fall into the pit.
Huge.
we also gotta get rid of these
though.
things that block your sight. Fun fact, there's just invisible blocks there. You cannot
Yeah.
die at this end section. Anyway,
So it's gonna be 895. Actually, yeah, I think so.
spoilers, but yeah, this is now a dashless section. This whole area is intended, you're not intended to dash.
You have a dash. You have
don't.
1 dash to use, but like you know, you don't have to. So if we're doing min dash, so I think the last dash is gonna be the hard.
But yes, so my first finished draft was, I think it was 1,036 dashes. But so 1,026 dashes, but Creepy still had a lot of dashes saved that I could think into the TAS. We just barely make that cassette cycle. It is very tight. And right here I copy from any%. So thank you, any% for having already done the last half of this room.
You're welcome, I did that.
I appreciate it. But so And you may notice we're going to be just barely under 900. And that's because we saved 10 dashes literally an hour before the
If that
showcase.
didn't happen, it wouldn't have been sub 900. That's really cool.
It would not have
Yeah.
been sub 900.
If your stream schedule happened to be 1 hour earlier each day.
Dang. Clutch.
That it would not have been sub 900 dashes. I was so happy when Creepy posted that because I had given up, this morning thinking we are at 908 dashes. There's no way we're making it sub 900. And then Molly saved 3 dashes and Creepy saved 10 dashes. I mean, you synced the Creepy save, but
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. Shoutouts to Creepy and Molly.
yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be basically perfectly 90 minutes.
Right? It is just barely under 900 dashes, and spoilers, it's going to be just barely under 90 minutes. But yeah.
EU summertime saved them. This is true. The 5 tile.
But yeah.
And that's it. 895,
That's it.
129.48.
895 dashes.
GG.
Dang, that was really cool. Honestly, that might be that's like one of my favorite tasks I've ever watched. I mean, it's on my favorite map ever, and it's honestly one of the coolest. Like, I love min-dash tasks are so cool. They're like a lot more interesting to me than any percent tasks. Usually, you see a lot more like interesting things. Oh, that's the best dash count. Beat my PP by a little, dang.
Yesterday, someone predicted 892 dashes.
Wow, someone was 3 off. Who was it?
The thing,
Is
It
whoever
was-
guessed that?
It was Waffle.
It was Waffle.
Master.
Waffle was that close, dang. Would have been further off without the saves this morning, or earlier, but
Yeah, it would have been 15 off, but then 13 dashes were saved, and all of a sudden, it was very, very close.
also, Chad, this is not my main file. This is debug file. Debug file just copied over my other save at some point, but like,
I should have made a solid credits list, but I did not. But I can go through the checkpoints that already existed. So,
go for it.
exopta, Rena, Gnommis, Pansear, APX, Bred had already done checkpoints. If someone had already done a checkpoint, I used it in this file. Then Creepy, huge thanks for watching the whole task multiple times and saving probably like 150 dashes at this point. Thanks to Molly for saving another 10, 15 dashes.
Mhm.
And yeah, thank you, Parrot, for hosting it.
Of course, thank you for letting me premiere this here. It was I'm honored to show this here. It was very cool. Also, thank both of you for the awesome commentary. Did a great job.
Thanks for having us on.
Of course.